Hello everybody, I'm going to do a VR for Dell from Redpath Knife and Tool. Now most of you should know already that Dell from Redpath Knife and Tool used to be Dell from Dirty Room Knives. He's knife making odyssey, going from strength to strength, new designs, new finishes, making some cracking knives. He's doing a competition and he's asked for VR, and he wants us to do an EDC show and tell kind of thing. So I'll get onto that in a minute, but first off I need a beer. It's been a moose of a week, even though Monday was a bank holiday, so it's only been 4 days in work. Oh, it's dragged on. Now, it's another southern beer. That says I'm doing a VR for Dell. He's not from round here. Fuller's 1845. Bottle conditioned ale, matured to perfection for 100 days. 6.3%. Now, straight off we got another potential cock up because I didn't realise this was bottle conditioned. So it could come out like sludge. But we'll see how we get on. We might get away with this actually. Oh, it smells nice. I always think it's yeah, we'll leave that bit. I always think it's a good sign if you can smell the beer without shoving your face in it. So we've got a nice chestnut colour. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. I would call that a proper nut brown ale. Quite a big flavour. Very beery. Very nutty, very very nice. Not sweet really, with a hoppy finish. First brewed in 1995 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Fuller, Smith and Turner. Blah blah blah, amber malt, Golding's hops, fruitcake aroma. Well, if you've got a fruitcake that smells of beer, then it's got a fruitcake aroma. Very nice indeed. Oh, Fuller's 1845. That's a cracker. Now this EDC video for Dell. I've done a couple of EDC videos so far, and as you know, we're working in an office, so the stuff that's in my EDC, it's not terribly exciting, and it doesn't really change much. So I was thinking, well, I can't really ask people to sit through that again. So I'm doing an EDC video, but I've done a rethink. What would I have for an EDC that has more of a emergency survival, zombie apocalypse, shit hits the fan scenario functionality? And scratched my head for a bit, watched a couple of other people's bug out bag videos and survival kit videos, and this is what I've come up with. Okay, so what do we need in this proposed bug out survival EDC? Maps first. 2 maps specifically. I'm going to assume that in the most likely scenario we're talking about townies like me bugging out somewhere remote. So you need a map that covers your chosen bug out location or locations, giving you all the information you need on distances, terrain, local resources. Then the other map you need is a map covering where you live. Because let's face it, you're never going to fucking get to your bug out location. Think about it. If there is civil unrest on a scale that means leaving town is sensible, then everybody's going to be doing it. And on that scale, a national emergency, the first thing the authorities are going to do is shut down all the transport links. They're going to close roads, they're going to take over trains, they're going to have armed guards at petrol stations. So you're never going to get to your bug out location. The most that can happen is you'll get stuck in traffic trying to queue up onto a motorway that's been shut down. The worst that could happen, the place is going to be full of preppers dressed from head to foot in army surplus camouflage, sat in their olive drab Land Rovers looking for all the world like military personnel. They're going to be targets for violence, because we're not talking here about a little bit of city centre looting. If we're talking about a mass national emergency, then all the preppers, all the survivalists will be indistinguishable from the oppressive government, army personnel. So, although I've just said you're never going to get to your bug out location, let's assume you do. What else do you need? Well, if you've got all your basics covered, food, shelter, etc., you're still going to need some things you can't find in the wild. A medical kit. Now all these things I'm going to propose here can all be bought without a prescription and stockpiled. They all have reasonable sell-by dates, so you can store them. So, hay fever, muscle strain, bites and stings and cuts and bruises, headaches, and a bag of plasters. Doesn't look like much. A lot of people will have suture kits and ambulance dressings in their medical kit, and it's a waste of time. If you find yourself with an injury on that scale when you're bugged out in the woods, you're fucked. For the simple reason that here in the developed world, people's resistance to infection is low, because we live such a clean, scrubbed up life that the first time you drop your Hultafors axe and it goes through your boot, no matter how well you stitch it up, you're going to get infected because you won't have any antibiotics. If civil unrest occurs on the scale I'm talking about, the first thing that's going to happen is all the pharmacies will be knee deep in smackheads crowbarring secure cupboards open, and you're not going to want to go there. So you're going to get an infection in your big wound and you're going to die a miserable, painful death. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you manage to clean the wound and it heals. There is a group of people who have a particular flavour of problem in this area. People who have prescription medicines, like me. None of my prescription medicines, which I will have in my survival kit, are controlled drugs, so I at best will have 2 months supply in the house. If any of your medications are controlled drugs, you're unlikely to have more than 1 month. And when they run out in the woods, you're fucked. There's a lot of conditions where you can probably manage for a while without your medication, but there's a lot of conditions where you will die. A horrible, painful, lonely death. Let's assume though, for the sake of argument, that you have a reasonable supply of whatever medications you need, and you manage to survive the first few cold, wet, frightening weeks, bugged out in the middle of nowhere. The next thing you need in your kit, wine yeast, because by God you are going to need a drink. And then that just leaves us one more essential item, I think, because when you've had your first brew in a month or so, and you've overindulged, and you wake up and your bivvy bag is full of elderberry coloured vomit, you're going to want a torch with an SOS beacon, because by that time the civil unrest will have been quelled, the authorities will be back in control, and you will want a beacon so that somebody can come and rescue your sorry little ass. So, EDC bug out survival kit, very easy to put together. It can all be carried legitimately, every day, in public, and ultimately it's all pointless. Thanks for watching.